everybody. This is January 23rd, 2026, and this video is part of a series in a video journal of my recovery from the trauma of watching my little brother with Down syndrome, Paul Kierans, be locked up by the British Columbia New Democratic Party government, David Eby as leader, for 588 days. We had 176 missed scheduled visits. I had an agreement with the government that I could visit with Paul twice a week. The group home's lawyer terminated my visits after I had complained in August of 2022, after I complained to the Burnaby RCMP when I discovered that the group home had created what I alleged to be a fraudulent and forged power of attorney, making my then 82-year-old Catholic nun sister 4,000 kilometers away in Ontario Paul's guardian so that they could give him the COVID-19 shot. They did that in secret from the rest of Paul's living siblings. He had 6 siblings alive at that time. They didn't tell anybody but the nun. She's 16 years older than Paul. She'd never lived with him. She'd never contributed, never cared for him, and never contributed anything to his care or upkeep. My other 2 sisters and I here in Greater Vancouver had cared for Paul on weekends and holidays since he moved here in 1990. So when the group home found out that I had complained to the police, the Burnaby RCMP tipped them off. And as soon as they found out that I had complained, their lawyer wrote me a letter saying I'll never see my brother again. Even though I'm only one of a handful of people in the world that could understand his speech. He had Down syndrome speech pathology. This was very traumatic. I was Paul's last living relative in Greater Vancouver and visitor, and he was my last living relative from a big family of 6 adult children and my mother that had lived in Greater Vancouver. So I went to the court. I went through every possible legal and bureaucratic step that I could take. I complained to the Human Rights Commission, and they moved so slowly that Paul died before they even began to take steps against the group home. Then when the nun found out that the Burnaby RCMP had been ordered by the Ottawa Oversight Agency, to proceed with the investigation into what I alleged to be a fraudulent forged power of attorney, she ordered her lawyers to start an application against me to have me designated as what's called a vexatious litigant. That is a very rare legal designation that takes away my access to the courts. Basically, it makes me vulnerable and takes away all of my civil and human rights, the rights that even to defend myself. I had practiced as a lawyer in British Columbia. I went to UBC Law School and I practiced as a lawyer for 23 years before I became disabled. Even after Paul died on April 23rd of 2024, the nun's lawyers, she had 2 law firms working for her. I estimate the Catholic Church spent at least $2 million on her legal representation in British Columbia. So after she found out that I had been contacted by the Burnaby RCMP and told that they were ordered to proceed with this investigation, she went after me to have me declared a vexatious litigant, to discredit me with the Burnaby RCMP and to discredit me in the investigation of her, what I alleged to be fraudulent and forged power of attorney. And she proceeded even after Paul died on April 23rd of 2024. And on November 29th of 2024, after a 4-day hearing, the judge went ahead and declared me and designated me permanently a vexatious litigant. I appealed that decision to the Court of Appeal of British Columbia, but I was not successful, and my appeal was dismissed. And I applied to the Supreme Court of Canada for permission to appeal that designation. And all my documents were filed on September 3rd, 2025, but I still haven't heard back from the Supreme Court of Canada. I'm waiting to hear back their decision. When they make a decision, they don't tell you why. They just make the decision. So you can help me. I'd really appreciate it if you, number one, contribute to my GoFundMe account. My sister, as I said, has had at least $2 million expended by the Catholic Church, of which I'm a member and have a lifelong member. And I've had to represent myself and pay for my own legal costs of photocopying and filing fees. I've created a GoFundMe account. Please contribute to our GoFundMe account. Any amount that you can afford, every penny helps. And also you can just call the number. I'll put the GoFundMe address. All you need to do is click on the link in the description box for this video to make a contribution. And if you can't afford that, you can just call the Supreme Court of Canada Registry on Monday morning and ask them what the status is of my case. And I'll put the name of the case and the file number in the description box for this video, along with the phone number of the Supreme Court of Canada Registry. This has affected my life terribly. It has affected my credit rating. I'm not eligible. Well, it's destroyed my credit rating. You can imagine, it makes me very vulnerable. I practiced law for 23 years, and now I can't even file a document in court without permission of a judge. It's taken away all the ordinary rights of a Canadian citizen to defend myself. And as I said, they did it to discredit me with the RCMP, and it worked because I've never been interviewed by the RCMP, even though they were ordered by Ottawa to reopen the investigation into the fraudulent and forged power of attorney. So number one, please contribute to my GoFundMe account by clicking on the link in the description box for this video. And number two, call the Supreme Court of Canada Registry and just ask them what the status is. Show some interest in my case and ask them what the status is of the case Walker versus Kierans, file number 41902. All the information will be in the description box for this video. This is a case of national importance. If they can take away my access to the courts for trying to visit my brother, this will discourage and have a chilling effect on other family members. Family members and loved ones of disabled people in Canada contribute $100 billion, that's billion with a B, dollars per year in care for disabled people in Canada. And to be treated this way and to have my rights, the ordinary rights of a Canadian citizen and access to the courts taken away to protect the NUM and the other people who created this fraudulent and forged power of attorney and took away all of my brother's civil rights. He died alone at Burnaby Hospital. So, as I said, please contribute to our GoFundMe and call the Supreme Court of Canada Registry on Monday morning. I love you all. Take care.